I rapidly draft a lot of content using ZimmWriter and Google Sheets. The main asset here is ZimmWriter. You can find out more about it on rankingtactics.com. But the first step here is to use the AI Vault. And then we're going to activate the Topical Authority Generator. Here's you want to find the one main term that you want to rank your website for. So in this case, I'm working with an agency to help them rank better locally for the term search engine optimization. So, or what we commonly refer to as SEO. So search engine optimization. So once I've done that, I've got to set the limits of, okay, how many of each of these do I want to generate? And you can make this as big as you want, depends how much you want to push out. I generally stick with 10 topic clusters. I want to say 3 long tails for that. I generally go up to 5 there, and so I want to have 150, so I'll have 3 blog titles with 3 long tails and with topical clusters there. I don't have an exact science for this, it's just to get a lot of content created quickly based on a general term. So then I use a create topical authority CSV. But now this is over the next 20 minutes, it'll create that CSV file. We'll return when that is done. Alright, so now that ZimmWriter's completed that, now we have this section where we have the broad concept keyword, which is the search engine optimization. Then we have the topical cluster. Now this is contained, we've got keywords, which is then talking about, then we've got a few different keywords for each cluster. We've got 3 different articles that'll have that keywords and a keyword in it. And we have the type, which is, so you've got a number of different types of posts that are under the topical cluster keyword, but have the different long tail keywords. But then they also have the blog post titles in there as well. So then you have the categories. And there, so it's like, okay, when we talk about keywords, what are we talking about? Like what orientation? Because we need to make sure that we give OpenAI all the information about it, or the context for the keyword. So now we're going to go over here to merged. Merged has all the stuff put together in a certain fashion. Generally it's just connected together. But if we go down to here and we grab all of the URLs here, we got 150 of them. But then we're going to take all these and we're going to put them back into ZimmWriter because we're wanting to generate specific articles. But let's take a minute and wonder, okay, how much did this cost? Right? How much did this cost over to do via OpenAI's API in ZimmWriter? Well, the cost estimate is about 2 cents. If you gotta get picky, it's 2.7 cents. So, model used is GPT 3.5. So, maybe later on we'll do comparisons between GPT 3.5 Turbo and 4. But for now, this is what we have. So now we're going to take these and we're going to go back over to ZimmWriter, and we're going to go back over to Bulk Writer. We're going to paste that in here. So now we have all of our articles long-tailed here, right? So we have all of our articles are now in the list form here. You want this to be so it's 1 line per article or per blog post title. So now we're going to have here, I like to have my blog post to be a little bit longer, so I choose 8, but I take the number to be a suggestion. So ZimmWriter will actually decide the number of H2s in an article by an article by article basis. So they're not going to be all the same, so it won't be uniform, so it appears more organic, right? So then we have H2 section length, short. I like to be a little bit on the shorter side because people aren't going to read huge blocks of text, so they'd be a little bit snappier. Then I want to be more addressing the reader, using that type of format. So we have, like, you could choose between talking from the first person singular, first person plural. I like the second person because it's more addressing you and is more confrontative a little bit more in the blog post. So in literary devices, what I find there is metaphors and similes. It's hit and miss with that, where that generally just creates a longer article. I haven't found a lot of more intrigue with it. But sometimes for blog articles that are technical like this, it may be helpful to that, because then you're educating the reader on using comparisons that are more common to real life versus technical search engine optimization type places. So I'm using, depending on the topic, I'll enable it or won't. So enable lists. So this is a bolt where you can add bullet pointed or numeric lists, numbered lists. I don't like tables because they don't tend to format well if you're not publishing it into a Gutenberg-based WordPress site. So Midjourney prompt. This is good if you have like the images API enabled, which I don't. But it'll describe an image, and so then you can add that into Midjourney, and then Midjourney will generate an image, and you can put that image back up into your blog. That's the whole idea behind it. But I like the key takeaways area because then just below the introduction, it creates a bullet pointed list of this is the key takeaways for this specific blog post. Then the T's gives it a little more transition between topics, so there's not this gap. It kind of bridges the gap between paragraphs. H3, in some of the articles it'll create a chance of the article having an H3 or not. So to me it helps the article become a little more organic, so that's why I included it in there. So then we have a frequently asked questions section. Now you have a number of different options here. You can have none, long answers, and short answers. I like short answers because it's nice to have those at the end. And audience personality. This is probably what will demand the most amount of study. Like you can pull from, let's see, Google 12 brand archetypes to learn more. There's a lot of different stuff that's written about these brand archetypes, but for blog posts that are addressing like the general person, I use the everyman personality. But for like articles that I'm trying to get the attention of like business owners, I'll use like the hero or potentially the explorer, because you want to get a hold of like the person's mindset who's searching for that. That's what we're trying to go for. It's not like, it really depends on who you're trying to reach, is what type of brand archetype do you want to put in here, right? So the last round I did was the everyman. So we're going to do reaching out to the hero or the business owner. That's who I'm going to be looking towards here. It could be the savior of their website's search engine optimization, I guess. So we'll do that there. And then GPT model, you're going to see, historically I've seen a good chunk of articles come through with text DaVinci. But on the flip side of it, like I've seen now the gap between 3.5 Turbo and DaVinci get narrow pretty much till it's nearly indistinguishable. But then there's only really the cost gap between GPT-4 and 3.5. I don't tend to notice a huge difference right off the bat with them, but most of the time I guess in my process I'm the one going through and changing it up. So, which is just why I just sit there and use GPT-5 Turbo. Gets me 80% of the way of where I want to go. So I'm like, okay, we'll just use that, and it gets me there for probably at most 10% of the cost of GPT-4. So yeah. Then I auto style. So this uses the most trusted person to write the article. So in this case, it'd be like an SEO expert, right? A search engine optimization professional. So then we want to add automatic keywords. So the AI will find keywords and pick keywords that'll be plugged in there. I found that to be pretty accurate. I like the progress indicator, all this stuff. Boost detection is real is probably the most important here, just because it gives the article an extra twist that makes it, if you're into the AI content detectors, it helps you get a higher score in that than if you don't check that box. So then we're going to go to start bulk writer. So you say I found 150 blog posts. Just want to make sure we're all good to proceed here. So we're going to proceed. It'll tell me where it is. Hit OK. And then over the next few hours, we'll push out 150 blog posts. So when you're done with blog posts, will appear in the output section. So one of the recent ones that were written here was about website maintenance. So what I like to do with these is to pick, to upload them to Google Drive, so I have a full editor to use versus just using it inside of Notepad. But what I wanted to point out here inside of Notepad is ZimmWriter generates these in what's called a markdown format. So you can go in and copy and paste this whole article into Gutenberg in WordPress, and it'll take this and automatically create an H2 that says key takeaways. Or the H1 will be 9 steps to restore a hacked website. So it'll automatically be adding in headings and some formatting in there too, depending on what you all have. Like this would be a bullet point right here because it's the hyphen. So, but that's how to generate a lot of content really quickly using two features in ZimmWriter: the AI content, or the AI database, as well as, the AI vault, and then bulk writer. We may cover other features of ZimmWriter in future videos, but that's the majority of it.